Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation.
What is today, the 19th?
Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler, on this recorded version of Sports Scope that will be played on the normal Friday that it is with the Mad New Yorker, but we're recording this on July the 11th, Thursday. So we're going to talk about Jamal Adams, former number 6 overall pick to the Jets, then later became a Seattle Seahawk, now is a Tennessee Titan. A lot of people have asked me about that. I'm going to give my opinion, go over some topics with the Mad New Yorker that I've talked about this week. Deion Sanders, is he leaving? Does he think he's going to leave after this year? Get his thoughts on that. Hard Knocks, is it too much information? The men's soccer coach died. Or he didn't die, he got fired. Excuse me. Also, some late breaking news that Monty Kiffin had passed away. The father of Lane Kiffin didn't put that in the title because that just broke. So, folks, stand by. We'll take our first and only break. And we'll hit the ground running here on Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports and host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. You're watching the sharp-dressed man and the big story breaker, Robert Butler, on Sports Scope, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on National Streaming Sports. Thanks.
All righty, then. I always want to thank Mac and Linda at National Streaming Sports here. Hey, Carlos. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, there's some late breaking news, some sad news there out of Oxford, Mississippi. Lane Kiffin, Monty Kiffin, the father of Lane Kiffin, 84 years old, passed away today. You remember he had Tony Dungy's defense there at Tampa really rolling. I want to say he was there when they won that Super Bowl back in 2002. Really perfected the cover 2 defense. I've always admired him. He's one of the better defensive coordinators and minds of our lifetime, in my opinion, during that era. What's your thoughts on Monty Kiffin passing, man?
Yeah, when you mentioned that, I was like looking it up. Just finished reading about that. First of all, rest in peace, prayers to his family.
Yeah. Well, Lane, he can get on my nerves sometimes, but I always say that.
The players that played with for him, the players that played against him, NFL families and friends and family of Monty Kiffin. He had a very impactful career as a coach, and it's a different football game now. We see little bits of pieces of his defense and a lot of defensive coordinators.
That's true.
Playbooks, but he's a legend as far as on a coaching tree, right? Building up coaches and people that follow him. So it's sad news, and just hope that his family and friends get all the support and they get focused. Like Lane Kiffin got a season coming up soon, so it's going to be probably tough for him to get everything going. But that's some news for sure.
Okay, yeah, I hear you, brother. Now that since we're out of Nashville, a lot of people's asked me about this guy during the day. It doesn't seem like a big story, but the truth of the matter is Jamal Adams was he was a number 6 overall pick to the Jets.
Yep.
He's a Pro Bowl player. He got traded for a haul to the Seattle, and my opinion of that is you seem like he had too much on his plate. I want to say you almost get a sense that Pete Carroll was trying too hard to justify that trade, and between that and some of the injuries, it didn't really turn out as well. He had some good moments in Seattle, but it was never quite the player that he was with the New York Jets. Had some injury issues here. That's the main thing. But with Tennessee, who's pretty set at safety now, did you know this guy's only 28 years old?
Yeah, he's about to be 29. This is an opportunity for Jamal to come through and try to get another 3-year contract. I mean, his career has been riddled with injuries. I mean, he plays hard, so a guy who plays hard like him, things will happen, and then he doesn't recover or hasn't recouped fast enough to get back to the field and play. I mean, he needs. One of the reasons he's in Tennessee is because his father played with the general managers back in the day, so they have connections there. That's one of the reasons too. So familiarity brings a little bit of help as far as these players like Jamal. I mean, he was an outstanding player for his rookie season, and he backed up his talk. But then once he started getting injured, it's like when he wasn't on the field, then you were kind of skeptical. Like, okay, is this guy gonna be? Can he be a serious person to keep on a team? And the Jets didn't think so. So he wanted more money than the Jets thought that he was able to pay him, and they went ahead and traded him. I thought that was a good deal for the Jets. They ended up getting a few picks out of that situation.
Yeah, he did.
I don't feel like the Seahawks got much out of him because of a couple of injuries.
Yeah.
And so, one of the problems was that he just kept, getting in the media and saying things and tweeting stuff. And, I can't sit here and say he's been a terrible player. I can't say that he hasn't played much. And like you said, he's going to be 29 soon. And he has to play this year out. He has to go all out, because if he doesn't, what's going to become of him? Because safeties and cornerbacks, they have an average of 5 years in the game anyways.
He'll be 29 in October. That is true.
So it's, I do know that it gives a little depth to the Titans. Helps him out a little bit.
He's a depth pick, so that's I think it's a really good signing to be a depth signing.
Yeah,
it's only 1 year. I'm sure they didn't. It's not been disclosed that I've read what they're paying him. I'm sure it's not a whole lot of money per se.
Right, and biggest pickup was from the draft pick when they picked up Devondre Sweat. They have I can't say anything. Owazie, and they have Murray. They have Adrian Key. There are players in Tennessee that have established themselves, that are very well established, and he'll give this guy will either give them depth or not, depending on if he can stay playing. And and that's what I hope to see. As far from my part, to see him as a former Jet first round draft pick, just when guys like this are off injured and then they kind of just fall away and right into the sunset. You want to see these guys be successful, because he was a dynamic player, man, and he did do his thing, but you got to stay on the field, right? So I hope that this move helps Tennessee more than it hinders them, but I'm sure they got him on a deal that is helpful for Tennessee more than it is, for Jamal. This is an opportunity for Jamal to reestablish himself as a dynamic player and get back in the game and try to get a contract, have some stability. So,
yeah, he was a DB coach with the Jets back his rookie year, through 2020. Denard Wilson here, and he knows how to use this guy properly. My guess is they're going to use him as a plug and play type of a rotational guy, situational packages at linebacker. He's or what do you want to call it? An in the box safety.
Right.
Help with the run. There's a guy named Kenneth Murray that the Titans signed out of the LA Chargers. Really quick linebacker. Only flaw with Kenneth Murray is he's not good against the run per se.
Right.
He's quick. He can cover tight ends, but he's not good against the run. Well, that's what a Jamal Adams would do. Kind of help facilitate that, help that out at linebacker, or be that in the box safety there. You look at it that way, and you look at him as a guy that's probably going to be behind an Amani Hooker or Elijah Molden, who are their starters there. It's a really good depth signing, if you ask me. He'll be behind Amani Hooker at strong safety, technically.
Right.
Not unless he has a heck of a camp and he beats him out,
I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, this is a player that's only been in 10 games in the last 2 seasons. So,
yes, that would be the knock on him. And that's why he's still on the market coming up in July.
Yeah, so and he's not a fantasy pick on defense for sure. So I don't know. Sometimes you need guys like this who are hungry and want to prove themselves, and it's not as long as it doesn't hurt you, then so be it. I feel like the Titans have a good core players that someone like this, the moment he opens his mouth and goes running off, he might just they might just hit the street. He might cut him and then put him back on the street. So
yeah, and just to the listeners tomorrow, the Titans fans and Nashville people, I'm reading this from this guy Ari Morvov, big time. He works with 3013. He talks about the Titans' defensive additions in the offseason. Listen to all these additions they've made. L'Jarius Sneed, the trade from Kansas City. Chidople Awuzie from Cincinnati, cornerback there. Jamal Adams, we just mentioned. Kenneth Murray, Sebastian Joseph Day at defensive tackle. They drafted Tavondre Sweat, who's going to be playing beside Jeffrey Simmons. Got linebacker Cedric Gay, Javar, and that was a 4th-round pick. Javaris Brownlee, James Williams, also at safety, defensive end, Jalen Harrell. Not to mention the fact that they still got guys like Harold Landry on the roster, and Arden Key, who is quick as a cat. He's a quick pass rusher there. With the Elijah Amani Hooker. And Roger McCreary from Auburn is considered to be a noseback. I don't even know what that's. This is just from the ESPN depth chart here. McCreary's a 2nd-round pick. I think he's coming into his 2nd or 3rd year out of Auburn. Very good player there. They're really going to have, ironically, this defense in my mind, judging by what this coordinator here wants to play, they're going to look a lot like that Tampa 2 defense where, because I've already know that he's going to play press man at the line of scrimmage. The only weak part would be linebacker on this team. Best secondary on paper that I can think of, maybe 20 years, maybe better.
It's a top 10. This is a top 10 defense, you think?
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you brought that up because I did write that down. Okay. Last year they were 19th in total defense.
Right.
Yes, I do think that they will be
a top
10.
Woo.
Yeah, I think there will be a top 10 defense, total defense. Last year, listen to these stats here, rankings or whatever. This was last year in the regular season. 16th against the pass.
Mm-hmm.
That will be better this year tremendously because Tennessee got roasted at some point. 13th against the run, 16th in points allowed. Pending a flood of injuries, they'll be top 10 in all those categories, pending a bunch of injuries because there's no real weak link here that I can think of. Not to mention the fact that the offense per se all the upgrades that they made on the offensive side, particularly their weakest link was the offensive line and the run blocking. That's going to go up big time with the coach there. And not to mention the fact that they drafted a new center, or they signed a new center out of Denver. And he was a highly sought after. It was one of their first signings, by the way. And then they've got J.C. Latham at left tackle to put him beside the guard there that they recently drafted in the first round. Prior to that, these guys are going to be looking good, man.
Yeah, I think they can make a playoff run. I don't trust Jacksonville. The Texans probably going to be the team that they're going to have to beat out. I think they're going to give them at least one game. I think they're going to go one for one, each of them. So
yeah,
I don't think Texas can sweep the Titans. And then again, and then who else is in the South? That's them. That's
yeah, but you got Houston, and Houston's probably going to be the favorite coming into the season. Peter Sonorski is who I was trying to think of earlier at guard there. Lloyd Castleberry at center. Daniel Brunskill's at right guard, and then right tackle. Dylan Ruiz he's listed as ahead of Nicholas Petit-Freed, but that'll be a count battle. Freed may beat him out, but Freed's coming off an injury.
Right? And if anything, man, he'll still be on. They won't cut him. They won't cut Freed.
No, Freed will probably beat him out, but we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, they've got a good judge and play there coming from Bill Callahan at that position. Not to mention you got Hopkins, Tyler Boyd, and of course Calvin Ridley with running backs Tony Pollard. This team looks so good on paper, man. That if Will Levis lays an egg the first couple of weeks, I think they're going to start 2-0. They go up there and they play the Bears. They're 4.5-point underdogs against the Bears. They're going to go up there and beat the Bears, in my opinion. Even though the Bears got a really good team on paper, but they got a rookie quarterback that's going to be starting. Then they play the Jets. Jets have to play Monday night at San Francisco, then come back and play at Tennessee. That's a really bad draw there for the Jets. I think they'll beat both of them teams. But if they lay a couple eggs, they could put Mason Rudolph in with this talent and this offensive line and running game and still have a shot to get a wild card. That's how much talent I think they have, not unless this coach is totally incompetent and everybody's way over their head. These are some really serious upgrades here.
Yeah, I think
you ask me.
Tennessee will be all right.
I mean, they're not going to the Super Bowl or nothing, but they've made – I can't remember. I don't think anybody's had as good an offseason as Tennessee has, other than maybe adding a Jim Harbaugh, a coach.
Because they even picked up a coach. They haven't picked up a new coach. So,
yeah. I mean, other than that, but player-wise, I don't and I know that Washington had more money, but Tennessee seemed to have more splash. I mean, two star-level players in L'Jarius Sneed and, of course, Calvin Ridley. That really set them up on as far as star power as in acquisition and free agency, in my opinion. So we'll see. We got a little ways to go, but I just thought that was an interesting setup here. Okay, so I sent you something here about Deion Sanders, and they had their Big 12 day yesterday, the little media day thing, And I got this soundbite here of Deion right off the bat here. If I can find it. I think it's
is it the church?
Let's see what it is. Okay, listen to how he snaps at the media right off the bat here.
All right, we'll have Coach give an opening remark, and then we'll take questions.
Opening remarks, first and foremost. How's everyone doing? Good to see you here. I need a little more energy if you want some energy from me, because this is horrible. If I was in church, I'd get up and walk out right now.
I mean,
how did I know you was gonna pick that one, Robert?
He's a guy from the South. He's in Fort Myers, Florida. He's used to going to churches like myself, Baptist. I've even been to Pentecostal where everybody's jumping around. Been to black churches. where it's like that too, you know, where it's a lot of energy. SEC Media Days, which coming up here next week, he would have never made that comment. People would, hey, Deion. But this was in Vegas, Big 12. It's just not that important to them. That's another sign. You know, he wants to get where people love football the way Deion loves football. What do you think about that comment, or am I just looking too much into it?
Well, I think I saw the interview on YouTube. It was in Vegas. They did have a little show before he came out. You know, they had the cheerleaders and they had the pep rally. And it was the interview was okay. I just, you know, he talks about a lot of things, but I don't think he would leave.
That was the press conference, you know, where he's talking to all the media. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe, like, going back to what you're saying, I don't think he's, you know, got a suitcase packed ready to leave. I just think, you know, the type of person that Deion is, that he's, you know, how can I put this? Nobody knows what Deion's going to do except for Deion.
Yeah.
And I think that we should all just kind of like keep it at that. And if you're Colorado and you're edging, you think he might leave, then, you know, why'd you get him in the first place? Right. I feel like if you're Colorado, you just give him everything that he asked for and let him do what Deion's going to do. Because if you start looking at parameters and putting up blocks and this and that, then you're gonna take away the kind of abilities that Deion has to be able to bring in, you know, people that he knows, to bring in, you know, the coaches, you know, to bring in different ideas on marketing, different things like that. So you open Pandora's box. You can't just shove him back in and be like, you know, you're not the coach that we thought he was going to be. So
yeah.
And I do think, to be honest with you, I do think Colorado is actually likes this situation that they're in. There's never been so much excitement in that university ever, like there is now, because Deion's there. First and foremost, that I don't care who you are as far as the University of Colorado, but like you can't say that, yeah, there's been a coach like that or a person like that has that kind of that has brought this kind of attention to, you know, Buffalo,
right,
in Colorado, right, to be in Buffalo. So that's first and foremost. So you're getting the attention. So yeah. You're definitely on any kind of like 5-star recruit list right off the bat because Deion's there. And if you don't think that, you wouldn't have got him to begin with. Deion knows his value. And Deion will use his value to push the limits, and I think he's almost there, right? I won't say he kicked everybody up there. He offered people to stay if they were going to play
last year, yeah.
You know, and there are a lot of kids didn't like that; they didn't feel comfortable, so they left, and he was able to replace them. And he's been able to replace some people from last season that he doesn't want on the team this year. So, like, this is what you asked for, Colorado, and if you don't like this, then you're going to have to wait out his contract, because I don't think he's going to go anywhere, to be honest with you.
I mean, do you think now they won 4 games last year, and I'm looking at their schedule right now. They, you know, North Dakota State, they're a very good team.
Right.
And he mentioned that. You got Nebraska again, Colorado State, which pushed them hard last year. They're not going to take them lightly no more. But they got Baylor in Colorado, Kansas State in Colorado, Cincinnati in Colorado. Cincinnati's not what they used to be. I think they're probably a 6 or 7 win plus team here. I mean, at Kansas, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State, those may be losses. So they could very well be like an 8-3 team. I don't think they're going to get to the playoff or anything, but getting to a bowl game, that would be huge for them, right?
Right. And the way I was looking at it last year, I was like, well, he's even if he don't make a championship run, he's going to be in a bowl game. And he almost didn't make he was like two games away from making a bowl game. Like a big
one of them was a blown lead to Stanford, if you recall. Big league, like 4 touchdowns.
And I'm not making excuses for them. That was a brand new team on the field. They have been playing together. I feel like this year there's going to be different for everybody, including Deion.
Yeah.
And I do think they'll get more than 7 wins. I think they'll have a good season. And those teams that you mentioned, Kansas State,
they got good coaches.
State, they're not this new team, this coming up team that Colorado has is 2 or 3 games better than what they were last year.
Right. I mean, they're not.
If you look at it that way,
if
you look at it that way, then you better not sell yourself short and be like, oh well, we beat them last year or we competed with them, because it's not going to be the same team. Where Tennessee on the SEC side, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Kentucky, they're going to be about almost the same team minus a few players. But this Colorado team is different, right? So, the Big 12, they got to be careful, man. They can't just be going on what happened last year. So,
but this is my theory from last year, and I want to reiterate that theory this year. That we talked about this last year when that schedule came out. Florida has a murderer's roll schedule, man. I mean, just an absolute. They play Texas and Georgia. Both of them are top 5 national championship contender teams. They play Miami. Okay. LSU, Florida State, at Tennessee, Georgia does, or Florida does. Billy Napier, the fan base has not been satisfied with him. I think he'll get fired this year, whether we think it's right or not. And Deion, who went to Florida State, has a grudge against them because he feels like he should have got that job rather than now. Of course, Florida State's really playing well. They were undefeated in the regular season last year before their quarterback got hurt. Wouldn't he love to stick it to Florida State, because as of right now, they're still on the schedule to play Florida. Deion back in his home state.
Do you think the University of Florida alumni and former players will allow a person like Deion Sanders to coach their team
over Billy Napier, because they need a splash? They've had 2 losing. They've had 2. This will be 2 in a row unsatisfactory coaches. Quite frankly, they really haven't recovered since Urban Meyer left.
Do you think that if they were going to get Deion Sanders, wouldn't that be their first Black African-American coach that University of Florida ever had?
No, I think they did have a Black guy head coach a few years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think
he was the defensive coordinator.
You mean he was intermittent? He was like one of those.
Maybe he was the regular one. I thought let me go back and look at their coaches here.
I think he was like what you call an intern.
The guy that later ended up coaching for Louisville.
Yeah, but I don't think he was a head coach. I think he was like a interim.
But they would hire they need a guy like Deion.
Florida?
If he simply doesn't, just quit after his sons, Schroeder, both of them, they're going to enter the draft next year. And I think Schroeder, the quarterback here, has a shot to be a top 5 pick, man. Let's see. Hold on, we're getting up here. Billy Napier, Greg Cox, I don't know, Greg Knox, Randy Shannon was an interim coach. But I think he was, you're right, he was a Black guy, but he was not the DJ Durkin, Will Muschamp. Charlie Strong. Yeah, he was only there for a temporary. Charlie Strong was who I was trying to think of. He was just he was an interim guy. He was a coordinator under Ron Zook.
Yeah, but they didn't keep him.
No. I thought he was going to. Maybe Urban Meyer kept him. Been in Urban Meyer for five years, Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
And 2 national championships. The Dan Mullen.
I'll tell you.
Those are failures. Jim McElwain was a failure.
Urban Meyer has a better chance of becoming Florida's coach again than Deion Sanders.
Who does?
Urban Meyer.
Oh, they'd love to get Urban Meyer back.
Yeah.
So he knows that would kill him. I'm predicting that they're going to take a shot at him. I'm predicting that they're going to hire Deion. I could just see it. I could see him in that blue and orange.
I don't think that Florida is like the administration and like the alumni in Colorado where they're like letting Deion be Deion. I don't think that. I feel like Florida is one of those places where they'll have a lot of yellow tape, red tape all over the place, and Deion he don't want to be in a place like that, man.
Yeah,
that's just my take. I mean,
yeah.
If you hire me for what I'm about, why you want to put me in a box? So
I think I think they're going to take chances. Listen, we talked about this a few weeks ago where Oklahoma just re-signed Brent Venables, and he's not had that they've extended him. Excuse me. He's not had that impressive of a resume. This NIL stuff is scaring coaches out of college football. You've got Saban left there, retiring like that. You've got coaches going to the NFL. I don't think it's scaring the coaches. I think it's just it makes for more extra work. Yeah. And your coaching staff is only so much. Your recruitment staff is so much. So like you have to make adjustments with your staff. Now you have to do, and it's already a small amount of time that you have to turn over these kids to make sure that they're in school. So, I think the NCAA does an injustice to these teams and these coaches because of the time frames that they have allotted for these teams to do things, and it's not a 1, 2, 3 thing. And so it's easier for, even if you're recruiting, for like, yeah, come on as a walk-on. I see you next year making a scholarship player, blah, blah, and try to make that sell than it is to be like, let's try to go for him when there's 4 or 5 other teams that can just pick up a player without having to bat an eye and put that little envelope in under NIL. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's now they might not do that well at Colorado if they don't clean up their penalties, get those DJs out of the locker room before. I mean, pregame DJs. I mean, stuff like that. But that's part of the culture that Deion wants these kids to have fun, to just be like, yeah. He got offended. Let me play this for you. He gets really offended when a reporter asks him about culture. He don't like the pushback, man. He does not like the pushback. Listen up.
You guys, that's what we do, okay? That's how we coming.
All right, final question. Far left side about
not a question. I'm just having a good time. Now you gotta go.
He's already knowing. Final question. I'm having a good time. Now you gotta go. Y'all don't love football.
Run out of time.
We got a shot clock. Joey, did they give you a shot clock?
How you doing, Coach?
How you doing?
Omir Khan, TG Sports here. I have a quick question regarding building a winning culture at CU.
What does that mean? What does a winning culture mean? I want to know what that means, because you got to be a winner to understand what that winning culture means. Everybody want to know about the culture. What is culture?
To me, culture is day in, day out, putting in the work.
Lifestyle.
On game day.
Lifestyle.
Yep.
Okay.
So progressing in that general area right there, as far as the winning culture side, last year you guys started off strong. You did kind of fizzle out a little bit towards the end of the year, but I remember you still talking about continuing to build that winning culture day in, day out. Do you feel the guys that you brought in this year are going to be able to help you fill those gaps?
I don't talk about culture that much, so that wasn't me. But I do talk about the consistency thereof of the goal and being consistent in whatever you do. So if you have a team that got to be a little more physically tough, you got to develop that. If you got mentally tough, strategically satisfying, and from the coaching staff's point of view, you got to understand that. But culture, everybody's on this word, and I don't understand this word one bit. And somebody got to help me understand what that word culture means. An environment, understanding of winning, you want that. I feel like I'm a winner. I know I'm a winner. So whatever I display, however I go about my job, my work, my business, my personal life, that's of a winner. That's all I know. I don't know anything else but that. So in due time, in due process, we're going to reach that goal, because we're going to get there, because I know I'm going to get there. And I'm not going by myself. Is that it?
That'll do it. Coach, thank you for your time.
Wow. God bless y'all.
So that end part right there,
Do you think that they would allow that at University of Florida?
that goes with your point. So I just made part of your point with Florida. I'm always going to be a winner. Everywhere I'm around is a winner. He still thinks he's a player. What the bleep is culture? Why are you asking me about culture? Well, your culture is listening to rap music and stuff, and saying they made it personal and all that. That's entertaining to me and you. But some of these ADs, like out of Florida, may frown upon that. I will give you a gold star on that particular view of it per se. I mean, because they could say that. On the other hand, he's going to bring a lot of hype. He's going to bring a lot of recruiting. It's in the middle of that fertile state of Florida that's still got a lot of great players. That I know they'll invest in it more in the NIL. It would be a spectacle. If he's going to be a spectacle in Colorado, what do you think is going to be in Florida? You muted yourself.
Yeah, my daughter's running in and out.
Okay.
Listen, I mean, I feel like Florida has to reestablish itself anyways. I feel like they're kind of fighting the SEC. Now they have an opportunity to change and reestablish itself, because Alabama's not going to be the same. I'm not saying that they're going to fall right off the map, but when Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi State, and all those guys heard that Saban was gone, they was just like a sigh of relief, and a tornado had just like spun up open.
Ding dong, the witch is gone.
Exactly. But now all these teams in the SEC have an opportunity to reset the perspective of the SEC, right? It's not about Alabama anymore. So now you got to do you, because Saban's not there to do him. So, and I think sometimes what happens is that too many coaches go in thinking about other schools where Urban Meyer, a guy like Urban Meyer and who was there before him in Florida that was winning coach, they was more focused. Spurrier. They're more focused on Florida, the team they have, and having a goal and trying to meet that goal. And that's what kind of coaching.
Spurrier was a Heisman Trophy winner.
Yeah, and
years ago.
Yeah, and that's why he wasn't successful in Washington, was because he's goal oriented, and when you're a coach in the NFL, you got to understand these players are looking about themselves, and so you have to find a way to be able to manage that, and he wasn't able to do that very well. So it's not Robert. It's not easy as just plug and play, man. We sometimes as fans we just mention a name and we're like, just get this guy and put him in there. And
I think if he does well this year, it will be a name to be talked about in University of Florida circles. Okay, gotta ask you, did you get a chance to watch episode 2 of Hard Knocks? One of my favorites.
I like that you're liking Hard Knocks for the Giants.
It's fun. I love that.
I'm despising every second of it. I mean, you could tell that they have a relationship shown in Daboll, and I'm just, but I'm not on that. I'm not on that Kool-Aid, man. And I like that I do like that they have their relationship and that they're open, and they, the things that are going in and out, and when they set down these quarterbacks and the questions that came out of Daboll. It gave me an idea, and then made me think about, okay, well, this guy is not that he's coming from nothing to be the head coach, but I still don't. Just something about Daboll that I'm I feel like something's missing from him to be a good
Is he a little bit of Dion? Is he like he comes off almost overly arrogant and kind of a cocky guy.
Well, Daboll has had the opportunity to win at different places where he was at. So he knows what winning's about, but in Buffalo, he didn't win nothing. And so
he was a coordinator there,
but
they
didn't win nothing. So that takes you're part of a team that didn't meet the goal. So
they didn't finish, but they had a winning record.
Yeah, you know.
Do you like that?
I'll just say this
too much though. Is it? Some are complaining that Hard Knocks in the NFL, they're showing too much of how the office works and everything.
That was the point of the show. That's the point of the show for that preseason outline. And I feel.
Do you think teams should keep a lot of this stuff private?
I think it comes out anyway in some kind of format. It comes out.
Me too, man. I really do.
So and this just goes to show to me what they've been doing with the Giants is them stepping in the poo poo. Like I mentioned before, they step in the poo poo. Now they're smelling it because, and this is just me. Like I'm a 1, 2, 3 kind of guy. Like I'm gonna talk to you the first time, the second time I want to get your ideas. The third time you got to make a decision. Like I know what I want. You got to make a decision, right? And I don't feel like Sean has that. Like this is what it is. If it was a thing.
I'm like with you. Was you a little disappointed that he didn't try to trade, tag him and trade him?
What did I tell you? I told you like I was under the impression that they overspent for Daniel Jones anyways, and if anything they could have got on the trade, they should have made some moves for the draft to do draft picks or something, right? Because it was coming too late and down to the wire. So I feel like they dropped the ball on that, and it's even the coach's fault for not saying, "Listen, I'm okay if we don't have Dave." If Daboll should have said straight up, "We already signed Daniel Jones. It's okay if we don't sign Barkley." But I think Daboll wanted Barkley more than Sean wanted him. As far as Sean knew the numbers, and Daboll was like, "That's a number. That's a top 10 running back. Like we can't lose him." So. That right there, they should have. That's kind of you see that in the way they're talking about players and the way they're trying to make decisions. Maybe that kind of relationship is unhelpful in business. And making decisions. But look, I don't see Daboll and Sean being there much more than a year, even 2.
That's a good point. There's after watching that. As a general manager, Sean is just a couple years older than me and you, just 2 years older than myself and you. I understand this in management. You could be respectful toward. You could even like the players. You can like them. You don't have to be mean to them.
No,
you just be respectful, but you can't be their friend. And he was being too much of a friend. I'm not going to do Saquon like. Listen, Saquon knows it's a business. Okay,
right.
Trade him to somebody instead. And get something out of it. Saquon, as long as he gets his money, he's going to be okay. He's going to live. You franchised him last year. He was afraid to do that.
And not for nothing.
Test the market. Well, then he went to your division rival.
And he went like this. He pretty much was on the phone like, so Sean was like, so we can do this. And Saquon was like, well, I already told you where I wanted to be at.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Sean's like, don't you do you like that? Like, and Barkley's like, nah, I mean, you already know. Do you know the number? So, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? Like,
he's a little soft.
I wouldn't even say soft. It's just like, I would have been like, who's that? Saquon? Don't pick it up because we ain't going to sign him. You know what I'm saying?
Did you watch Moneyball?
Yeah, but
look with Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt says, "Just cut to the chase."
Right.
He told what's that Jonah Hill character?
Yeah.
Tell them what it is. Don't beat around the bush. They understand it's a business, and do it. And he says, "Don't say this and no." Brad Pitt's like, "Listen, tell them this. Here's your plane tickets. We've traded you to so and so. That's it.
Arrivederci.
Or we've cut you."
Yeah, I mean, because once he got on the phone, he's like, "Well, we don't want to put you on the tag again." Why would you even say that? Don't mention the tag, because
That's true.
Because the thing is that you put him on the tag, he didn't want to be tagged, but he made his money straight up cash, right? So he took himself out of another situation. I would have been like, "We tagging you again, and if you don't like it, we'll trade you." Because we don't have the money. It's not that we don't like you, right?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
He didn't have to say go test the market. He knows what the market's at. He's a top 5 running back. To me, that's idiotic to even mention. Well, just go see what somebody else wants to do. No, just be like, bro.
Yeah, they lost. They'll get a compensatory pick for him next year.
Ain't gonna get nothing because.
But I would rather got that pick this year to help out this year's team.
The value is not even worth it, man. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, he was overdrafted from the get go.
Who was overdrafted?
But me, I take the emotion out of it, man. I take the emotion out of it.
And I told you, like, us being a Giants fan and knowing the situation, if they had me being a GM, I would be like, they both got to go. I can't make my. Yeah. I can't. Honestly, even if you say you want to be a Giant for life, I can't sit here and be like, I'm going to give you money and I can't give you money. Or I'll be like, you know what, Saquon, I'm going to give you a 2-year deal. That's it.
Yeah. Saquon looked a lot better if he had his quarterback on a rookie contract.
It's like the once they pay Daniel Jones what they paid him, they put themselves in the negative again.
Yeah. Think about speaking of the devil, motivation. You're coming back from injury. This is shown for everybody now. It's one thing when you know that your girlfriend or boyfriend is seeing somebody else. It's another thing when you see them on Cheaters in its own video. They're sitting there seeing all these other quarterbacks here. You're seeing it on video. How motivated is Daniel Jones to have just to be working his rear end off to be his absolute best? If that don't motivate you, I don't know what will. No?
I don't think the problem for him was ever motivation. Everybody's always talked about here in New York about Daniel Jones this and that, but it wasn't that he wasn't motivated. It's that he couldn't stay on the field and not be injured. And when he was on the field, it wasn't that he wasn't motivated. It's that he was making lop-headed mistakes. You're a third-year quarterback. Why are you making rookie mistakes? So it had nothing to do with motivation, man. This guy's not motivated. He go out there, he'll run 10, 15, 20 yards a game. He'll go and try to throw for 4 touchdowns and only get maybe a few yards and not get a touchdown. Like he's not trying. He's not trying. He's not trying. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's doing what he's trying his best, but his best isn't up to what we want it to be as fans and what it should be as a player. If you're comparing him to backup football players, he don't rank in the top 50.
Right.
No,
I'm right there with you. I think they're going to move off of him. If anything, you could see they really, really like Jalen Daniels. If you watch it, they loved him some Jalen Daniels. They loved him some Drake May, who Rich Eisen says they did everything under the sun to move up to 3, to get to Drake May, and New England wouldn't budge.
The 2 quarterbacks that played last year for the Giants did better than he did in one full season. Both of them playing.
And they got Drew Lock on as a backup, by the way.
And they got another Daniel Jones is what they did. It's like,
yeah, I don't even think he's quick as Jones. I mean,
I don't understand. They had DeVito. He's a rookie.
He's still on the roster, technically.
Yeah, I don't understand. And I'm not saying that I want him to be the future quarterback of the New York Giants. And they I don't understand what they're trying to do, and for them to say what they're doing is going to get them to a playoff run or even a Super Bowl run. I don't, so that's why I don't feel like never drank the Kool-Aid about Schoen and Dabo, and I don't think that Schoen is the best capable GM for the New York Giants, and I don't think that Dabo is the best coach available for the New York Giants. I'm not saying that they haven't done an okay or good job or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking of the New York Giants as a New York Giants and them as a football team of excellence, and I don't feel like they're in that level.
I'm a little higher on Dable, even though I just called him, arrogant and stuff. A lot of the great Belichick's arrogant. He's Belichick. I could see a scenario where McDermott in Buffalo gets fired, and then they bring back the former fired offensive coordinator, give him a shot as the head coach, because there is a very good shot, a very good chance that Dable could get fired, and maybe Mr. Mara moves off him and Schoen again. That's a possibility if they really look bad. If they're like 4-13 or something, right?
Yeah, I've been sitting here for the last 2 seasons saying I don't think the Jets are going to be more than 6 games this year either. I said it last year. And people are like, oh, well, I was like, I don't know what is on the paper that makes people, the fans here, be like all excited, because I'm not excited. Like we drafted a wide receiver, big deal. Who's going to throw him the ball?
Who was saw at a strip club at $10,000, it looked like, in cash over the weekend. So maybe they should have went with the offensive lineman. They should have said Jason Jackson.
I sit here every year and be like, don't blow the pick, just sell it. Right? That's what I say every year. When they're in the top,
if you got a buyer, maybe they did have a buyer.
Yeah, they have plenty of buyers. Believe me.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so the men's, more about this. I'm just getting your opinion. The men's soccer coach was fired yesterday. I guess because they got eliminated or whatever from this tournament. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm going to say a few things here, because it's kind of my shtick. I grew up playing soccer, that's my game. It's very difficult. First and foremost, it's very difficult to be in a men's national team in the United States and expect and have high expectations to be the best in the world, right? Even though right now we're ranked, the ranking for the United States soccer is like around 11-ish, 12-ish. It's going to change.
Okay, yeah. Greg Berhalter's 44, 17 ties and 13 losses.
Yeah. I mean,
in 5 years. So I don't know.
I just,
if that's considered good or not.
It's okay, but this level, the level they need to move forward is higher. And I'm going to tell you why. And the women's national team here has been winning for so long. Yeah. They have such a high standard that sometimes Americans are like, as much as they don't like soccer, they're like, well, the women are winning. Why aren't the men winning? Yeah. Right. And it's because it's a different mindset for women. They have different things going on. That is their culture, right? Yeah, the way they're brought up and how they're taught and what they're doing in universities. Title IX is one of those extremely helpful things. And in fact, Title IX helped women's soccer more than it helped men's soccer, because more men's soccer teams were taken out of the university level to provide the assistance to women having Title IX and equal opportunities for universities as far as scholarships concerned. So where it helped one area, it hurt the other one. So now you want to bring somebody in where there's not a good winning culture, there's not a good setup. The league, as far as the MLS, the league has been coming up. It's provided the last 15 to 20 years. It's provided players for the men's national team. Some people say it's been good. Some people say it's okay. Some people say it's below average. Yeah. Whatever it is, the league has been growing. There's been growth, and the popularity has helped. But the national team is a piece of a bigger pie that is hard to fulfill that circle, because even, for instance, I mentioned women's national team. Even last year, this whole thing about equal pay for women and men's, that was like a big distraction if you think about it. I'm
sure they don't have the draw that the men do.
Right, and on a national level.
Same thing with the NBA, WNBA.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the same thing, Rob, and I'll tell you why. Because internationally, the women are known as they have high expectations. They're a winning They have they have World
You're
Cups.
saying they actually bring more money in than the men?
No. I'm saying they have one more on an international
Gotcha. Oh, okay, gotcha.
than the men's. So that's
Yes.
where it's hard to try to.
Well, still, I don't know if that has anything to do with
It's
money.
it's a perspective as far
Perception.
as in a perception that if you're in the men's national team, you should be winning a World Cup, right? That's the goal at the end of the
So
day.
is it more just talent than it is coaching, or is it just a combination of both?
It's the grassroots program for the men's, bringing up kids who play soccer
Yeah,
to perform
the farm system in baseball.
pretty much to perform at a higher level. Because I mean, the men's national team tried to bring in a foreign coach a few years back in Jurgen Klinsmann, and he had an issue with players like that he didn't feel like his players were up to par to the German players that he used to coach. He complained a lot about that. He played a lot of players out of position, and he didn't take he wasn't taking responsibility for that. So, but his expectations were high, and the men's expectations were high. They were trying to get into these World Cups, and then they lost to Mexico. But that's another situation. But for this guy, Burkhalter, you go to a major tournament like the Copa America, and you're losing in the way that you lost. The team didn't show any motivation at all. They didn't show. It almost seemed like they didn't have any It's not that they didn't have any.
Yeah.
But we were in the United States. Yeah, the tournament was taking place here in the United States.
Oh,
so
wow.
all the fans were prideful.
So you're saying that's what caused it to cause the.
It's just that
call it for his job.
and there's a lot of things that were going on because he got fired and then he got rehired as well. So there was so much little things that end up just adding on, and I feel it took away from the fact that they were trying to have a team that was going to be able to beat the best teams in South America and in North America.
Yeah.
And you can't do that, then that's a problem because that's your job at this moment, right? You got to worry about what you can do in the moment. And he didn't do that. The team wasn't up to par. I mean, there's just so much. It's one of those things that when you follow soccer, you look at what's going on because it's so much like a lot of these guys, they play in different leagues too. They're not all just from the U.S. soccer league. They play in different leagues, and so then they have to come back and get together with these other guys. And I could honestly say there might be 6 guys on that squad that are like on a super high level and can compete. And then there's maybe 4 a notch down, and then there's 6 more that are on the competitive level but should get more experience either in Europe or just find more motivation, right? It's just
I got you, dude. Hey, so you got anything to plug? We got about less than a minute here.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a show here in a few days with the football. I'm just trying to get all the information straight before they go on the All-Star break. And teams in New York and baseball, they're doing okay. It's fun to watch. Both teams. The Yankees right now not so much, but they do still have a winning record. And then the Mets right now, it's kind of what they're doing is very, very unique. This happens in baseball. Like I said, it's a marathon. It's not
lows and highs. It's a long season. 160.
But it's good. It's good stuff. And so you guys look out for that. And I'm ready for the All-Star game as well. So
yeah, that's next week, I guess, right?
Yeah, and then the finals on Sunday, Colombia versus Argentina. That's going to be a good game. You don't like soccer, you should just watch this game. It's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, that sounds big. That's big time countries right there.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. All right, man. Appreciate you. Hopefully, see you back live on the regular schedule next week, maybe Thursday or Friday. But we'll be doing a live show.
Yeah, whatever you say, whatever you want, man. Let me know, and we'll hit the road running, bro.
All right, buddy. Hey, we got SEC Media Days will be next week, folks. So we can talk to college and the SEC, which has got Texas and Oklahoma now.
We're getting close, man. We're getting closer to the time.
I can't wait. Have a good night, man. See you, buddy.